Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you all are keeping well. Today we have to deal with the rest of the sentences which we had already dealt under the chapter which was fillers. Previously, if you remember, we had spoken about what are fillers. We had understood that fillers are those specific areas in which we get a chance, we get an opportunity to fill up the empty areas, to understand that how these fillers would help us out to make the complete meaning of the sentence, right? Whether the fillers could be a word, it could be phrases, or it could also be a sentence, a simple sentence. Remember, fillers always are a part of those competitive exams wherever English comes as a major subject, a scoring subject. So always remember fillers, tenses, then even sentences, conversion of sentences, transformation of sentences. This all comes as an inevitable part of any of the exams wherein English is a subject, right? Like previously, whatever we had done in the previous session for fillers, if you have any queries or if you have something to ask, you may please put it up in the chat box, and thereafter we can deal with it. I can clarify those areas. I can definitely clarify those minute queries. So if there are any queries, please put it up in the chat box, everyone. A very good afternoon to all. So in case if there are any queries, then we'll first deal with it, or else we'll start with our rest of the journey of fillers. Last time while doing fillers, this question, previously we had started with the word. There was a blank for which you have to place a word. That was one filler. Identity, that was one filler pattern. Secondly, there could be a filler wherein you have an idiom or a phrase. You fill in that idiom, you fill in that phrase, and that's how the fillers work upon. Then what we are doing now is a complete sentence is to be placed up, adding a link to the previous, that means the first and the second sentence, the last sentence rather, the first sentence and the last sentence. When you have to have a linkage, maybe filler could be called as a linked at times as well. So if you have to add up those links in the paragraph to complete the meaning of the paragraph, we call it as a filler, and that filler is a sentence. Yes, Ajinkya, I'm trying to answer your query. Your query is about, Ajinkya has asked that if you can please give a short introduction on what are fillers. Fillers are like very normal, like in our school days when we had school exams, we were given fill in the blanks, right? And when we are given a fill in the blank, what are they asking us? They are asking us maybe a word or maybe a phrase, or maybe they are asking us about a sentence which needs to get slotted, which needs to get filled up into that blank. Why do we need to fill it in that blank? Because we want to complete the meaning of that sentence. तो वो सेंटेंस का मीनिंग तभी कंप्लीट हो जाएगा, तभी वो मीनिंगफुल बनेगा, तभी वो इम्पैक्टफुल होगा जब उसमें वो फिलर ऐड कर दिया जाएगा. सो फिलर इज नथिंग एल्स बट it is maybe a word, it is maybe a phrase, or it is maybe a sentence which is filled up in the given blank. और उसका एक ही मोटो होता है किसी भी सेंटेंस का मीनिंग कंप्लीट करना, रादर किसी भी पैराग्राफ का मीनिंग कंप्लीट करना. इवन इसमें ऐसे फिलर्स भी होते हैं या ऐसे भी पैटर्न होता है फिलर्स का जहाँ पे you get a paragraph and you have the beginning and the end sentence, or maybe you have sequence of sentences 1 2 3 4 5 6, ऐसे आपके पास sequence होते हैं sentences के, और उसमें एक sequence गायब होता है, it is empty. तो उस समय पे आपको वो empty वाला जो एरिया है वो ढूंढ कर निकालना है. इट्स जस्ट लाइक फिलिंग अप द स्लॉट्स, या फिर जिसको हम लोग जिक्सॉ पजल कहते हैं, बिल्कुल वैसे होते हैं फिलर्स. हमें वो एलिमेंट, वो टुकड़ा वहाँ पर डालना है ताकि हमारा जिक्सॉ पजल जो है वो पूरा का पूरा कंप्लीट हो जाए. ओके, सो दैट्स हाउ द फिलर्स वर्क. सो फिलर्स नीड टू बी very specific, fillers need to be meaningful. They are either synonyms or antonyms of certain parts of a sentence. That is one thing. Secondly, fillers can also be idioms, they can be phrases, they can also be sentences, simple sentences. They can also be run of sentence, which is a very long sentence and it gets filled up into the place given. So fillers का और fill in the blanks जो हमने स्कूल में किया उसमें कोई डिफरेंस नहीं है. फ़र्क सिर्फ इतना है कि वहाँ पर एक वर्ड डालना होता था एज एन आंसर. यहाँ पे यू हैव वैरायटी, या तो आपको वर्ड डालना है, या आपको फ्रेजेस पुटअप करना है, या फिर आपको ईडियम्स डालना है, या कंप्लीट सेंटेंस शुड बी पुटअप. Now it is depending on the content. Okay, so I hope your question has been answered, Ajinkya. Alright, so shall we continue? मुझे और कोई query यहाँ पे chat box में दिख नहीं रही है. In case if you have any query in the chat box, please let me view it. उसे मुझे दिखना चाहिए. It should be visible to me. So I hope there is no query as such. So let's start with our today's left on work of fillers. So we were previously on, if I'm not wrong, we had completed till, can anyone help me out in this to find that which sentence were we on exactly? I think we had just started up with this new pattern question, gender equality, women empowerment किया था. Yeah, what is organ donation? Fourth वाला हमारा question था. If you remember, we were on the fourth question and it was talking about organ transplantation, right? तो हमने वो देखा था and I hope उसका आंसर भी हमने क्रॉस चेक कर लिया था. Now let's continue with the fifth one, right? Be choiceless. I'll just increase the font of the screen so that it becomes readable for you. Hope it's readable to all of you. Okay, so I'll just read out. In the meantime, you can view the screen. Be choiceless because if you choose, you become narrow. Dash. Now this dash means complete one sentence has to come here. It's not one word, it's not one phrase, it's not an idiom, it's not a proverb. It is that complete sentence which has to come here. If a mediator chooses the life of a monk and escapes from the world, he will be poorer for that, because the world has many things to give you. It is tremendously beautiful device of existence to help you grow, to give you challenges, to give you new adventures, to give you opportunities to test yourself, your awareness, your being. If you escape from the world, you will be escaping from all these opportunities. Sitting in a cave in the Himalayas, you will be very poor. You will not have richness of experience. And by, you will become stupid. You will become silent. That's true, because there will be nothing to distract you. But that silence is of the Himalayas. It is not yours. Okay, now this is a wonderful passage. ये एक छोटा सा जो extract है ये बहुत ही सुंदर है. क्यों सुंदर है? Because it talks about the reality of life, you know. Now this extract says that be choiceless. Don't go for choices. Don't expect much. Don't give any type of choice. Whatever comes on your way, accept it. That's what is the passage saying. The underlying moral, bottom moral is that accept whatever comes to you. Take it as your luck, your fortune, that it has come to you. And then when you start choosing things, you become narrower, right? For example, I would say that I would like to eat pizza. This is what is my wish, that I want to have pizza. Now, unfortunately, the topping which I like is not available at the shop, in either of the shops, right? I am unable to get that topping which I like the most. And so, what would I do? Now, if I stick to my choice and I say कि नहीं मुझे तो वही pizza खाना है with the same topping, then certainly I am not going to get it. There is no chance to get it at all. At the same time, at the very same time, if I take it as not a choice, but definitely I take it as my opportunity, that okay, जो भी अवेलेबल है आई विल गो विथ इट, आई विल एन्जॉय दैट, उसी चीज़ को मैं एन्जॉय करूँगी हैप्पीली, उसी को मैं चेरिश करूँगी, रिलिश करूँगी. सर्टनली आई विल बी हैप्पी एट द एंड बिकॉज फॉर्चुनेटली आई गॉट द पिज़्ज़ा, राइट? मुझे तो पिज़्ज़ा खाना था. अब वो पिज़्ज़ा कैसे भी रूप में खाऊं, क्या फ़र्क पड़ता है? द टॉपिंग डजेंट मैटर मच, बट ओनली इफ आई स्टिक टू माई चॉइस एंड आई से कि नहीं आई वॉन्ट द सेम टॉपिंग, certainly I'm going to lose that taste. Certainly I'm going to lose the opportunity to relish pizza, right? So this is a very small example. So the passage is saying that you give yourself, don't stick up to something, you just give yourself to the world. World has many things to give you, and the best thing what the world gives you is experience. We get experience. A lot of experience is gained by us in this complete world, and that enhances our personality. It's only after the experience we get to know that who is your beloved, who is yours, who is faithful to you, who is your enemy, who is your opponent, who is your competent person, right? So we get to know about ourselves, we enhance our personality when we get experiences. So the passage is saying that only when you get experiences, you mold yourself and you become a better human. When you face challenges in your life, you become stronger every time. So this is how many people, they do. What do they do exactly is they go into Himalayas. Like if they are tired of their life, they get into Himalayas, sit there in a grove, and they, or in a den maybe, and then they reside there for long many years, because they think that they get internal satisfaction or they get internal peace. बट एक्चुअली में वो साइलेंस और वो पीस वहाँ का नहीं है, उनके अंदर का नहीं है, इट इज़ ऑफ द एनवायरनमेंट. हिमालय इटसेल्फ इज़ वेरी साइलेंट. तो वहाँ का साइलेंस है जो आपको पीस दे रहा है. आपके अंदर तो अभी भी देयर इज़ अ लॉट ऑफ वॉर विच इज़ गोइंग ऑन. अ सीरियस वॉर इज स्टिल yet to get completed. So for internal peace and for internal silence, you need to live a life as a human. This is what the passage is saying. Now you have to give me the answer. Please give me the answer. What according to you should be the answer here? When silence happens in the marketplace, then it is yours. Nobody can take it away. You can remain anywhere whatsoever the situation. Your silence will remain there as a deep substratum to your being. Society is not interested in your bliss. Society is interested in its own efficiency. Society is not bothered about whether you are aesthetic or not. Now you have to tell me which exactly option you think would be the answer. Yes, please answer, everyone. लाइफ इज इनफाइनाइट एक्सपांडिंग एनर्जी. आई थिंक आई स्किप दैट. नहीं, मैंने बोला शायद से. Finite expanding energy. Yes, which one? A. Pradisha thinks that A. When silence happens in the marketplace, then it is yours. Nobody can take it away. I think, yes. First one. You all want to go with first one? Okay, when silence happens in the marketplace, then it is yours. Now nobody can take it away. Okay, okay. I also would like to go for the first one, but I still think that third was also pretty well. But then, okay, first is much more appropriate. Let's go to the sixth one. Yeah. Compassionate listening has only one purpose: to allow the other side to speak out, to empty their heart, and to suffer less. Maybe no one has been able to listen to that person, so you may be the first one who can sit and listen peacefully to him. That is a practice of compassionate listening. Compassionate listening, this has been highly practiced by all counselors. जितने भी साइकोलॉजिस्ट और काउंसलर्स होते हैं ना, दे हैव सोली दे हैव दिस थिंग टू प्रैक्टिस. वो और कुछ नहीं करते. व्हाट डू द काउंसलर डू एक्चुअली? काउंसलर करते क्या हैं? वो सिर्फ शांति से सुनते, दे ओनली लिसन. क्योंकि जो लोग उनके पास पहुंचते हैं, मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम दे आर दोज पीपल हु आर नॉट बीन हर्ड. Remember, children, in your complete lifetime, if you get an opportunity to listen to people, do lend your ears with patience. Say nothing, suggest nothing, just listen. Because it might have happened, as it is mentioned in this passage, that that person was left unheard. No one heard it. No one heard that person ever. And so everything is, stuck up here. And that becomes so heavy at times that it starts bothering here then. First things get piled up here, which gets transferred to the brain later. So, and the person then starts getting psychologically disturbed, and then there are many other issues which come up. So basically, compassionate listening is required. What do you mean by compassionate? Listening with complete focus. Like, we also do listen to people, right? But at times we are busy in our work, or maybe we just overhear something. हर चीज़ को हम keenly नहीं सुनते हैं. We don't give our complete attention, 101% attention to that person. नहीं देते हैं. So that's not compassionate listening. So one should give compassionate listening, should practice. You have to train yourself before you can listen. Now there is a blank. What he may say might have a wrong perception, misunderstanding, bitterness, accusation. So what the other person might say may touch of irritation and anger, and you may want to react by interrupting him. And if you do that, you fail. You transform the session into a debate. Now this is again something very useful for all of us. अब वो क्या कह रहे हैं? At times, when we are exposed to listening, what do? We listen to some extent, and thereafter we try to interrupt, try to speak in between. क्यों बोलते हैं हम? Because we don't agree with certain things. जो भी वो बंदा बोल रहा है, if I don't agree with something, or if the person is trying to accuse me, the person is trying to speak ill about me, तो मुझे अच्छा नहीं लगेगा. I'll feel insulting, or the person is not correct. He is not speaking correctly. He is speaking by using wrong ways. So if that is the situation, what will I do? I'll try to correct the person. I'll try to give him certain instructions, right? मैं वो काम करूँगी. But then what am I doing? Instead of listening compassionately, I am diverting the person and my conversation towards a debate. I have completely turned it into a debate, because I'll speak, he'll say, I'll speak, he'll say, and then that will turn into arguments and debate. So that's what the counselors don't do. This is a major difference between a common man like us and a counselor or a psychologist. What do they don't do is they don't intervene. You speak for hours, they listen to you for hours. Quietly, with complete patience, they'll only listen to you. They'll only do the job of listening. They'll only do the job of mere listening. That's all. So, next time remember, compassionate learning or compassionate listening. There are certain terminologies which one can follow, right? So now give me the answer for it, children. What do you think would be the answer for it? I'll just read out the sentences. Say to yourself, my purpose is not to argue with him or correct him, but to allow him to have a chance to suffer less. By speaking out. So, if you practice mindful breathing and maintain that kind of mindful awareness, you are protected by your compassion, and what he says will not touch off anger or irritation in you anymore. That is why it is called the practice of compassionate listening. You are able to tell yourself later on, in 3 or 4 days, when the chance comes up, I'll offer him some information so that he can correct his perceptions, but not now. So, what according to you is the right answer here? Yes, please. Which one do you suggest, children? You have to train yourself before you can listen. This is the last sentence. After that, the answer should be there. And then your answer should be followed by the sentence, what he may say might have a wrong perception, misunderstanding, and so many things. Yes, which one, children? Third, fourth. Okay, that is why it is called the practice of compassionate listening. Not third exactly. Fourth, I agree with the fourth one. I agree with the fourth one, but not the third. What do you all suggest? Third won't help our, it won't satisfy our motto. Third one, not exactly. Fourth, I still find it's feasible. Fourth one is feasible. I think we'll go with fourth one. Third one, actually it's already been mentioned here. Look, that is the practice of compassionate listening. It's already been mentioned here. So there is no point in just answering the same or repeating the same sentence here. It's of no sense. So, हमें ये समझ लेना है that already that thing has come here. So, we don't have to repeat it again. So, I think we can go with the fourth one. Second one, so if you practice mindful breathing, see now that is a completely different area. When you talk about mindful breathing, वो एक अलग चीज शुरू हो जाएगी फिर. So don't do that. Mindful breathing के बारे में यहाँ पे बात हो ही नहीं रही थी. Here we are talking about compassionate listening. So let us only stick ourselves to compassionate listening. Okay? Is it clear to everyone? Moving to the next part. Hmm. Okay, I am on the next part of it. The body is dependent on the whole of creation. In society, somebody has to make clothes, produce electricity, drill for oil. The body cannot be independent of the world. For the body, dependency is absolute. Most people are not aware of their limitations and dependency. When the spirit identifies with the body, then it gets pinched and the desire for independence arises. Mind, intellect, ego, they all look for independence. See, now this is solely talking about what our body is like and how is the society always requiring humans to make it, and at the same time how our body is not independent because it is completely dependent on others. We cannot solely get ourselves survived. We need support, we need people, we need dependency. There's a lot of dependency of ourselves on others. There is a lot of dependency. Like as it is mentioned here, that there is someone who will stitch the clothes for the body, there is someone who will give medicine for the body, there's someone who will prepare oil for the body, there's someone who's going to prepare toothpaste and brush and comb and whatnot and soap and then food, right? Accessories. There are so many things, so many things. So one cannot be independent. I cannot say that I can live independently. I don't need any support of any human on this earth. No, no, no. It's not possible. It's actually not possible. We need support of humans. We need support of the world. So we are dependent. Mind, intellect, ego, they all look for independence. Yes, what they have said is actually correct. We all look for our independence. Looking for independence, often you get stuck in the ego and become more miserable. When a person feels like getting more and more independent, when a person feels like that there should be independency in us, then the person may get egoistic, right? And because the person gets egoistic, वो शुरू हो जाता है मैं शुरू हो जाता है, I, me, myself. वो जहाँ पर आ जाता है, then always remember we're going to land into a very terrible situation, and that's what ruins one's life. फिर हमारा आंसर आएगा. When you move within, you discover that you are interdependent. Individual self, soul, jiva is interdependent. Everything is interdependent and there is nothing like independence. Independence जैसी चीज है ही नहीं in the whole world, in the space. Nothing is independent. Forget about humans, talk about Earth, a planet, such a huge planet. Is it independent? Does it not need the sunlight? Does it not need air? Does it not need beings and creatures on it? Does it not need gravitational pull? नहीं, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है जो इंडिपेंडेंट है. तो अगर इतने बड़े बड़े ऑब्जेक्ट्स, सेलेस्टियल ऑब्जेक्ट्स हैं विच आर कम्प्लीटली इंटरडिपेंडेंट, एक दूसरे पर डिपेंडेंट है, सो हाउ कम वी एज ह्यूमंस कुड बी फ्री फ्रॉम ऑल दिस? हम किसी पे डिपेंड ना रहें, ऐसा हो ही नहीं सकता है. Our soul itself is also interdependent. So when you talk about independence, remember there is nothing which we call it as independence. तो ये बात अपने दिमाग में रख लीजिए. हाँ, there is a word which you call it as freedom. There is something which you call it as freedom. Freedom हम बोल सकते हैं. Yes, one needs freedom, one needs liberty, one needs right to talk, to speech, to think, to opt, to choice, to learn, to get educated. So many things. Fine. वो एक अलग एस्पेक्ट है. But when you talk about independence, people think that they are getting into job and then they start earning and so they are independent. ऐसा नहीं होता है. क्यों? Because everything is dependent. Although you are on job, still you are dependent on people. Although you earn money, still you are dependent on people. You are dependent on your family. You are dependent on your loved ones. And remember, at the end, we all are social animals. हम अकेले जिंदगी नहीं बिता सकते. We need a company. Let's come to the answer. On one level, dependency is a harsh reality. On another level, it is an illusion because there is nothing else but the self. एक तरफ पे डिपेंडेंसी बहुत ही हार्श लगती है, तकलीफ देती है. दूसरी तरफ पे वो सिर्फ एक भुलावा है, एक इल्यूजन है, बिकॉज खुद के जैसा कुछ भी नहीं होता है इस दुनिया में. Independence cannot be achieved unless you start moving from within. Then the ego finds some excuse to revert to smallness. It is not yet totally soaked in the totality of knowledge as it is not used to it. The mind finds every little excuse to revert back to the ego and to be aloof and independent and separate, and it would find any small fault and blow it out of proportion. Be aware of these tendencies and come what may. Be strong in the commitment to satsang, to the path. Okay, there's lot much over here. Now you have to decide which one is the correct answer. Remember, our first sentence is looking for independence. Often you get stuck in the ego and become more miserable. ये हमारा starting का sentence है. उसके बाद हमारा answer आएगा. And after that the ending sentence is when you move within, you discover that you are interdependent. Yes, which one according to you should be the answer? Yes, fourth one. Pradisha finds that fourth one is, it is not totally soaked in the totality of knowledge. So often you get stuck in the ego. First wala to is of no importance there. Third wala, then the ego finds some excuse to it smallness. थर्ड वाला भी नहीं. इंडिपेंडेंस कैन नॉट बी अचीव अनलेस यू स्टार्ट फ्रॉम इट. नो. फोर्थ या फिफ्थ दोनों में से कोई एक यू कैन सी. नाउ व्हेन यू रीड आउट द सेंटेंसेस एंड व्हेन यू रीड द बिगिनिंग सेंटेंस एंड द वन विच इज द एंडिंग सेंटेंस, यू गेट टू नो अ हिंट कि कौन सा एग्जैक्टली होना चाहिए, कौन सा ऐसा सेंटेंस वहाँ पर आना चाहिए. सो आई थिंक फोर्थ वन इज मच बेटर because it talks about interdependence, it talks about even knowledge which brings out our real me or our real us from ourselves. ठीक है. So fourth वाला जो है that is appropriate. Spirituality is commonly associated with sense denial, withdrawal from the world, and austerity, giving up the good things of life, moving away from family and worldly possessions, and retiring to the forest. Altogether an unattractive proposition. This puts off the younger generation who want pleasure here and now. They are not willing to wait for future reward, leave alone postmortem happiness. स्पिरिचुअलिटी है आज पूरा एकदम साइकोलॉजिकल है, फिलोसफिकल आज है हमारा सेशन, ऐसे मुझे लग रहा है अभी. आई कैन सेंस दैट. स्पिरिचुअलिटी इज कॉमनली एसोसिएटेड विद सेंस डिनायल, विड्रॉल फ्रॉम द वर्ल्ड, एंड ऑस्टेरिटी, giving up the good things of life, moving away from family and worldly possessions and retiring to the forest. इन्होंने बताया स्पिरिचुअलिटी एग्जैक्टली में होता क्या है. हमें हमारे परसेप्शन के हिसाब से या इतने सालों से जो चलता आ रहा है उस परसेप्शन के हिसाब से स्पिरिचुअलिटी क्या चीज़ है. तो सिंपल सी चीज़ है. स्पिरिचुअलिटी होता है दुनिया जहान छोड़ दो. Forget that you have a family, forget that you have people who care for you, forget that you are there in this world. All pleasures to be sacrificed. हर चीज़ को मना करते जाओ. कुछ नहीं चाहिए, गाड़ी नहीं चाहिए, घर नहीं चाहिए, जॉब नहीं चाहिए, पैसा नहीं चाहिए, प्लेजर नहीं चाहिए, क्लब नहीं जाना है, नॉन वेज नहीं खाना है. There are so many things which you have to just keep denying. There is only one thing, no, according to this passage. और फिर उसके बाद गिव अवे द गुड थिंग्स इन लाइफ. जितनी भी अच्छी चीज़ें हैं ज़िंदगी में वो सब की सब दे दो. सैक्रिफाइस देम, फॉरगेट देम, भूल जाओ तुम्हारे पास ऐसा कुछ है. ऑल टुगेदर एन अनअट्रैक्टिव प्रोपोजिशन. बहुत ही डल बन जाओ, डल कलर्स पहनो, एकदम नो एसेसरीज एट ऑल, बाल निकाल दो. व्हाट मेकिंग योर सेल्फ लुक वेरी डल. No one should look at you. You should not look at all attractive. Then this puts off the younger generation. और ऐसे क्या होता है, जो younger generation है उन्हें ऐसे लगता है कि because they are unable to face challenges in their life, they throw themselves to such a situation to find happiness. उनको लगता है कि वहाँ पे खुशी मिलेगी. The trend today is to indulge indiscriminately in sense contact. But the more you indulge, the less you enjoy. Every successive contact with an object reduces the joy content till you reach a stage of no enjoyment. Every successive contact with an object reduces the joy content till you reach a stage of no enjoyment. हर चीज़ जो भी इस दुनिया में है उसके साथ हमारा एक रिलेशन बन जाता है, उसके साथ हमारा एक बॉन्डिंग बन जाता है, चाहे वो बंदा हो या वो ऑब्जेक्ट हो. सो व्हाट दे आर सेइंग इज ट्रेंड टुडे इज टू इंडल्ज इनडिस्क्रिमिनेटली इन सेंस कॉन्टैक्ट, बट द मोर यू इंडल्ज द लेस यू एंजॉय. सो द मोर यू गेट इंडल्ज विथ एनी थिंग और एनी पर्सन, दे से, दिस पैसेज सेज दैट यू एंजॉय दैट वेरी लेस. Just example, nowadays children are prone to play, even youth, not even kids, even youth are prone to play a lot of games on mobile, right? बहुत ज़्यादा games खेलते हैं बच्चे मोबाइल पे. And famous game is PUBG. What is there I don't understand. But then the point here is, when children get themselves indulged, initially they find pleasure. Initially they find a lot of pleasure in it. They find a lot of coolness in it. They say it's a cool game and it's wonderful, it's entertaining. And then finally what happens? 1 week, 1 month, 2 months. After that, gradually you start losing interest in it. And eventually there comes a time when you stop playing it. Or you get bored out of it, or you get frustrated out of it, you lose interest in it, and then you hunt for a better version. Maybe the same game, but a better version, or maybe another game. Why? Because you need change. Once you get more and more indulged into it, you lose interest. This thing can happen with even humans. Okay? So, this is how the passage has come up. People act in the world only for profit, reward, paychecks. Selfish action leads to failure, stress, and limited gains. Vedanta introduces the concept of unselfish action. The attitude shifts from that of entitlement, of obligation, from profiteering to offering your talent towards a larger cause. The truth is, spiritual life restores the enjoyment you have already lost. When you give, you gain. Grab and you lose. All takers are unhappy, givers are happy, and givers grow into outstanding personalities. Attachment is love polluted by selfishness. The relationship gets tainted with unreasonable expectations and demands you make on family and friends. Now tell me, which one according to you is the correct one? Which one according to you is correct? Is the right? The beginning sentences, they are not willing to wait for future reward, leave alone post-mortem happiness. And the ending is, the trend today is to indulge indiscriminately in sense contact. Yes, which one according to you is the right answer? Please tell me. Now, they talk about youth, they talk about that this is how the people, the youth, they get displeasured, they get unhappy, and the reason behind is they want the reward today itself. Today, आज ही चाहिए, जो भी हम कर रहे हैं उसका रिटर्न्स आज ही चाहिए. Which one, children? Come on, give the answer. What according to you should be correct? People act in the world only for profit reward. I don't think this would come. Vedanta introduces the concept of unselfish action. The attitude shifts from the entitlement of obligation, from profiteering. The trend today is to indulge. Life restores the enjoyment you have already lost. When you give, you gain. Grab and lose. I think fifth one. How about that? Third. Okay, everyone is going with the third. The truth is, spiritual life restores the enjoyment you have already lost. They are not willing to wait for future reward, leave alone post-mortem happiness. एक मिनट. Here, where are we again talking about spiritual life? जरा बताना यहाँ पे. Spiritual life के बारे में starting में बात हुई है हमारी. उसके बाद we turn up to young generation who needs the reward instantly, and then thereafter we move on to how do they get indulged indiscriminately, and as much as they get indulged, that much loss they face. उसमें spiritual कहाँ से आया? आप लोग 3 किस हिसाब से बोल रहे हो? Just tell me that. On what basis are you telling me 3? Please tell me. Please tell me. On what basis are you telling me it's 3? Come on, fast, fast. Be quick. When we are already spirituality के बारे में बात हुई है, but that is in the beginning, right? तो उसके बाद near to our answer, what is the beginning sentence? What is the ending sentence? That we are supposed to see. That we are supposed to check out कि exactly यहाँ पर क्या है. Come on, tell me. I don't think the third is the correct option. मुझे नहीं लगता है third option सही option है. बिल्कुल भी नहीं लगता है. So you have to tell me which is the right option according to you. Okay, Ajinkya has changed his statement. उन्हें लगता है fifth वाला is a better option. Others also have to give. Come on. See, ये जो वेदांता वाला है पॉइंट, ये भी एप्लीकेबल नहीं है बिकॉज इसमें हम लोग वेदांता का कोई भी रिलेशन नहीं दिखा रहे. People act this one also. First, second and third. I don't think they are worth. नीदर दे आर रिलेवेंट, उनका रेलेवेंस ही नहीं है कहीं पे भी। तो फर्स्ट सेकेंड थर्ड की तो बात ही मत करो बिल्कुल भी, वो गली नहीं करनी है। नाउ टॉक अबाउट इधर फोर्थ और फिफ्थ, यू गिव मी अ चॉइस फ्रॉम फोर्थ और फिफ्थ। सी व्हेन यू हैव सो मेनी ऑप्शंस यू नीड टू फर्स्ट थिंग, जैसे मैं कर रही हूँ हर बार, यू हैव टू रिमूव, साइडलाइन कर लो। जो पॉइंट्स आपको लगता है कि बिल्कुल भी रेलेवेंट नहीं है उसको साइडलाइन करो, उसको देखना ही नहीं है फिर से। और शॉर्ट लिस्ट करो, वो होता है ना केबीसी में 50-50, वैसे करना है। सो मेक इट 70-30, नॉट 50-50, डायरेक्टली 70-30, बिकॉज वी हैव 5 ऑप्शंस राइट। तो उसमें से 3 जो बिल्कुल भी रेलेवेंट नहीं है उन्हें साइडलाइन कर दो, एंड द रेस्ट 2 उसमें से सिलेक्ट द मोस्ट अप्रोप्रिएट वन, ऐसे करना है। सो आई एम गोइंग विथ फिफ्थ वन, फॉर मी फिफ्थ वन इज करेक्ट। Okay, we are going towards the ninth one. How many do we have? 9, 10. Okay. I'll just read it faster. Freedom is independence to think for oneself clearly and not to act according to the dictates of society or one's own personal inclinations. अब ये जो है आज की पीढ़ी के नारा है कि फ्रीडम चाहिए उन्हें। तो फ्रीडम जो है वो होता क्या है एग्जैक्टली? फ्रीडम होता है खुद की सोच के हिसाब से चलना, अपनी ज़िंदगी अपने टर्म्स पर जीना, ना कि सोसाइटी के बनाए हुए पैटर्न पर। एवरी कम्युनिटी, एवरी सोसाइटी हैज़ इट्स ओन पैटर्न, दे हैव सेटअप। जो उनके स्कॉलर्स हैं, जो बहुत रिनाउंड बंदे होते हैं इसमें सर्टेन कम्युनिटीज़ में, उनकी बनाया हुआ एक पूरा स्ट्रक्चर है। एंड दे एक्सपेक्ट आवर पेरेंट्स एक्सपेक्ट, एवरीवन इन द सोसाइटी, दे ऑल एक्सपेक्ट कि वो पैटर्न फॉलो होना चाहिए। अगर कोई उस पैटर्न के खिलाफ जाता है देन दैट पर्सन इज टर्म्ड एज ये बिगड़ गया है, ही इज आउट ऑफ द लाइन, आउटलाइन बंदा है ये या बंदी है, जो भी whatever. So they say, and this is absolutely correct, that what is freedom? Freedom is living our own life according to our will. किसी और के विल के हिसाब से नहीं, किसी और की सोच के हिसाब से नहीं, किसी और के एक्सपेक्टेशन के हिसाब से नहीं. It is on our own terms. That's known as freedom. Freedom is not merely freedom from something, but is freedom in itself. It does not mean freedom to do whatever one likes. So one has to understand not merely verbally but factually that word implies we are not trying to define what freedom is. Each one would interpret it according to his own inclination or upbringing, and some would even deny that there is such a thing at all. हाँ क्या? सच में? Sincerely speaking, I agree. I absolutely agree with this. हर इंसान के लिए जैसे सक्सेस का डेफिनेशन अलग है, वैसे फ्रीडम का भी डेफिनेशन हर किसी के लिए अलग है. किसी के लिए फ्रीडम हो सकता है टू वेयर वेस्टर्न क्लोथ्स, किसी के लिए फ्रीडम हो सकता है टू कम आउट ऑफ द हाउस, किसी के लिए फ्रीडम हो सकता है टू ड्राइव अ 4-व्हीलर इंडिपेंडेंटली, किसी के लिए फ्रीडम हो सकता है टू गो आउट विद द फ्रेंड्स फॉर मूवी एंड ऑल दैट, किसी के लिए फ्रीडम कुछ, किसी के लिए फ्रीडम कुछ. तो हर किसी के लिए फ्रीडम का डेफिनेशन अलग होता है डिपेंडिंग ऑन देयर सर्कमस्टेंसेस, अपब्रिंगिंग एंड देयर थॉट प्रोसेस. बट कुछ लोगों के लिए फ्रीडम जैसी कोई चीज़ एग्जिस्ट ही नहीं करती है. उन्हें लगता है कि उनकी लाइफ में ये वर्ड कभी आया ही नहीं है और आएगा भी नहीं, तो इसका कोई वैल्यू ही नहीं है. देन कम्स आवर आंसर. व्हेन दीज prison walls are broken, then there is freedom naturally and one does not have to seek it. So what is important is not how to achieve freedom, or to ask what freedom is, but rather to ask why the mind, which is the product of time and environment, and has had so many experiences of misery and conflict, is not free. जब ये वॉल्स जो हैं, सो कॉल्ड वॉल्स हैं, जब ये टूटेंगी तब नेचुरली फ्रीडम मिलेगा, ऐसा लगता है हर किसी को. लेकिन ये इम्पोर्टेंट, इस पैसेज के हिसाब से ये इम्पोर्टेंट नहीं है कि हमें फ्रीडम लेनी है या हमें फ्रीडम मांगनी है या छीननी है या अर्न करनी है. सवाल ये आता है कि जब दिमाग में इतने साल इतना सारा एक्सपीरियंस रहा, इतने सिचुएशंस को लोगों ने हैंडल किया, फिर भी उनका दिमाग फ्री क्यों नहीं है? फिर भी वो फ्रीडम को क्यों हंट कर रहे हैं? फिर भी वो फ्रीडम के लिए क्यों वेट कर रहे हैं? सवाल ये है. तो हमारा बिगनिंग सेंटेंस है, वी आर ट्राइंग टू डिफाइन फ्रीडम. We are not trying to define what freedom is. Each one would interpret it according to his own inclination or upbringing, and some would even deny that there is such a thing at all. ये हमारा beginning sentence है. Ending है, when these prison walls are broken, then there is freedom naturally, and one does not have to seek it. किसी को ढूंढने की ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ती है, वो naturally मिल जाती है जब ये walls जो हैं, so called, जिसने हमें बांध के रखा है, वो टूट जाते हैं. अब आंसर आप लोग बताएंगे. प्लीज गिव मी द आंसर. अच्छा, आई हैव टू रीड द सेंटेंसेस एज वेल. द माइंड इज कंडीशनड बाय सोसाइटी विथ इट्स कल्चर्स, लॉज, religious sanctions, economic pressures, and so on. Freedom is to be found not by seeking it, but rather by understanding what it is that prisons the mind. A discipline which comes naturally without any conformity is the simple observation of all these fears, anxieties, and envies. To see your own fears, your own ambitions as you see a tree. This very seeking is that discipline. The word discipline means learning, not conformity, suppression, or obedience. Learning the nature and the structure of conditioning brings order, not the order of society which is disorder. और बहुत ही heavy इन्होंने thoughts डाले हैं. The thoughts are very heavy and they are quite valued. Let me tell you, बहुत अच्छे thoughts हैं, बहुत ही वैल्यूड थॉट्स हैं और लाइफ में यूटिलाइज होने वाले थॉट्स हैं. ऐसे नहीं है वो जस्ट गिवन फॉर द सेक ऑफ गिविंग, बहुत वैल्यूड है. दे आर गुड वर्ड्स. नाउ आई नीड आंसर. प्लीज गिव मी द आंसर फॉर इट. बहुत इजी है ये तो. Which one, children? Fifth one. ऑर्डर. सोच समझ के लिंक करना है. लिंक, प्रदीशा लिंक करो थोड़ा सा. देखो स्टार्टिंग का सेंटेंस कहाँ एंड हो रहा है. ये स्टार्टिंग का सेंटेंस किस बारे में बात कर रहा है? लिंक करो उसको. फ्रीडम के डेफिनेशन के बारे में बात हुआ, उसके बाद अपना आंसर आएगा. उसके बाद सी द नेक्स्ट सेंटेंस. व्हेन दीज वॉल्स, यहीं पर हमारा गेस होगा. व्हेन दीज वॉल्स, कौन से वॉल्स? वो वॉल्स हमारे आंसर में आएंगे. तो कौन से वॉल्स है वो? थिंक अ लिटिल एंड यू विल गेट द आंसर. Come on, fast. Yes, I also would like to go with the first one. यही है वो walls. सोसाइटी के बनाए हुए वॉल्स हैं, कल्चर्स हैं, लॉज हैं, रिलीजन सैंक्शंस हैं, इकोनॉमिक प्रेशर है एंड सो ऑन. ये है वो वॉल्स, ये है वो दीवारें. अजिंक्य, अगर आप सेकेंड और थर्ड बोलते हो बेटा, तो डेफिनेटली सेकेंड वाले में इट इज अंडरस्टैंडिंग व्हाट इम्प्रेशन द माइंड. ओके, सेकेंड वाले में उन्होंने सिर्फ फ्रीडम को थोड़ा सा और इलेबोरेट किया है. थर्ड वाले में अ डिसिप्लिन विच comes naturally without any conformity is the simple observation of all these fears. कौन से fears? कौन से fears? वो तो हमें पता ही नहीं है. Then how can you say third one? इससे पहले ही वो fears आने चाहिए. कौन से fears? इससे ऊपर तो fears दिए नहीं है. Are you getting me? इसके अंदर fears दिए ही नहीं है बेटा. तो फिर हम कौन से fears की बात कर रहे हैं? About what are we talking exactly? Yes. Which fears are we talking about? ऐसा कुछ भी ऊपर दिया नहीं है, तो अगर वो नहीं है तो हम उसको कैसे मान सकते हैं? Then for us it is only the first option, जिसमें बकायदा वो वॉल्स, सो कॉल्ड वॉल्स के बारे में बात हुआ है जो इंसान को बांध कर रखता है. ऐसे नहीं करना है क्योंकि सोसाइटी एग्री नहीं करती है, ये कपड़े नहीं पहनने हैं क्योंकि हमारा कल्चर एक्सेप्ट नहीं करता है, एंड सो मेनी थिंग्स. तो वो क्या है? दे आर सो कॉल्ड वॉल्स फॉर अस. दे ऑल आर सो कॉल्ड वॉल्स. Okay, so is it okay with everyone? Is it clear to everyone? Everyone understood कि यहाँ पर first वाला जो है that is the correct option. This was number 9. Let's do number 10. The reason we are in pain or sorrow is that we are living at the level of the senses. It is like living in a dream state. We need to wake up from this dream and experience the reality of our soul. हम सब लोगों को तकलीफ होती है या हम खुश होते हैं किसी बात की वजह से, या हम लोग जो हैं खुद को तकलीफ देते हैं. Why is it so? ऐसा क्यों होता है? क्योंकि हम एक, अकॉर्डिंग टू दिस पैसेज, हम एक ड्रीम में हैं, हम सपने में हैं. हमें उससे जगना होगा. वी नीड टू गेट अप, वी नीड टू वेक अप फ्रॉम दैट स्लीप. उसमें से बाहर आना होगा. देन देयर इज आवर आंसर. सुप्रीम ब्लिस कैन बी रीच्ड व्हेन वी स्टॉप आइडेंटिफाइंग विद द बॉडी, माइंड एंड सेंसेस and instead live at the level of the soul. तभी हमें वो बोलते ना अप्रतिम, यस, क्या हिंदी वर्ड बोला, हमें तब अप्रतिम खुशी मिलेगी जब हम अपने सेंसेस को अपने सोल के साथ मैच करेंगे. हमारी सोल को जो महसूस होता है हम उसके हिसाब से अपने आप को, अपने फीलिंग्स को मैच करेंगे, तब वो भरपूर खुशी हमें मिलेगी. जैसे वो कह रहे हैं, वी नीड टू विड्रॉ आवर अटेंशन फ्रॉम द आउटसाइड वर्ल्ड एंड फोकस इट विद इन थ्रू मेडिटेशन. देन वी कैन फाइंड आवरसेल्व्स फ्री ऑफ पेन एंड sorrow. So powerful is the bliss of soul that one can actually undergo pain and sorrow in this world, and while feeling them, be able to sustain them in a state of bliss. जब हम बाहर देखने के बजाय खुद के अंदर झांकेंगे, मेडिटेशन करेंगे, then it is the time we get the real happiness. हमें असली खुशी तब मिलेगी जब हम अपने अंदर झांकेंगे, अपने अंदर की सच्चाई को जानेंगे. The reason we have pain and suffering basically due to separation from God. Once our soul is merged in God, there is no pain. We are in a state of bliss. हम खुशी के स्टेट में चले जाएंगे. हमें कोई दुख दर्द नहीं होगा जब हम भगवान के साथ जुड़ जाने वाले हैं. यस, तो ये बहुत ही सिंपल और फिर से एक काफ़ी फिलोसफिकल था. तो इसको आगे बढ़ाते हैं. When we do so, we will attain the state of perpetual bliss. When we empower the soul through meditation, we still face pains and problems, but a current of intoxication supports us from within. You feel the pain, but your mind is not bothered by it. The pain is experienced in the body, but the message to the brain is blocked in such a way that you can bear it and be oblivious or unmindful of it. There are people going through different activities in life who are having one problem or another. Now you have to give the answer, children. Yes, which one? बताइए.